everyone, welcome to part 3 of the dragon video. I just want to say before we get started, thank you all for the support you've been giving me. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So, this is where we left off last time, building the wings. So what you're going to want to do firstly is we're going to start on the tail. So, the most important thing to remember is turn, shrink, repeat. So, you're going to want to get the cylinder primitive. Just turn it, shrink it, and repeat it. Say it with me, guys. Turn it, then shrink it, then repeat it. Alright, anyway, back to it. So the tail is probably the most easy part of the dragon, because it's just cylinders, turning them, shrinking them, and then moving them. And then here you have what it should look like when you're done. You've just turned it, shrinked it, and moved it. And then what you're going to want to do is do the exact same for the underneath of it, the underneath part of it. So you're going to want to grab the primitive. There's me just adding it, making it a little bit longer, just ignore that. It doesn't matter how long it could be. If you want a tail to split up into 3 sections, it's the same concept. You're just going to shrink it, turn it, repeat it. But anyway, this time you're going to copy the primitive you just had, the cylinder, move it down, color it differently, and then you just do that with each section of the tail. Okay, so we're going to get started on the under part of it. So to do this, you're just going to select the top primitive, the cylinder, drag it down a little bit, and then place it. And then if you recolor it, it'll come out looking like this, which is pretty simple, but it works effectively. However, there are some issues with it, as you can see. If this does happen, you can move the primitive left to right and adjust it. I don't do it in this video, I don't know why. But you can adjust it, and it'll just fit perfectly, and it'll just look so flush and nice. The tail is the easiest part, and is the shortest part of this video. Sorry, I'm questioning myself right now. What's going on? They're not even full. It is what it is. I'll fix it. But yeah, the tail is the easiest part of the whole build, practically. And the legs, which are up next, they're going to be pretty difficult to follow, but I can guarantee you guys will get it. Hopefully. Maybe. But yeah, there you go. There you have it. There's the tail. You can add things onto the end of the tail. I didn't, because I wanted to keep this video as short as possible for you guys. Building dragons does take time. But yeah, for some of the examples I've done like cones on the end, balls. Oh, I need to rephrase that. Like the Ankylosaurus. I'll put a picture. That's what I've done on some of the ends of my tails. But
okay, so this is me editing the video right now. Here are some examples you could add to the end of your tails. I've used a couple of these. They're really good. I'd recommend them.
you know, anything really. So this next part is optional. I do add spikes on my tail. You don't have to have spikes. It just takes time to add spikes. But you know, they're a nice addition if you want to like add them. I'd add them if I were you, because it just makes your dragon look more complete and more whole. But yeah, adding spikes, all you're really going to want to do is select the triangle primitive, shape it down, and then just bring it down the circles, bring it down the tail. You can have it turning in any direction you want. You can have multiple spikes. You can have gigantic spikes. It's your dragon. I'm just showing you the basic way to build them. Okay, so now we have all the spikes down the back of the tail. This is what you're going to want to do for the legs. So I've added square primitives on where the legs would be to show us where the leg positioning will be. So I've done a 4-legged dragon in this, but you can also do 2-legged dragons and maybe no-legged dragons like wyverns. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use cylinders. Now this is where it gets complicated, because depending on the size of your dragon, you're going to want bigger legs or smaller legs, you know? So with this one I've done average size back legs, and then the front legs got a little bit too small. So right here you're going to want to have 2 cylinders. You're going to want to have a little bit of tilt on each of them, going opposite directions. to make like a triangle with cylinders with no point. And then once you have this, come on, cameraman. Yeah, but once you have this, you're gonna want to shorten them and then put it on the back of the leg, well, just like you can see right here. And then on the front, you're gonna want to make it a little bit bigger, maybe not that big. Yeah, that's a bit big, but we'll work with it. It's okay. So you're gonna want to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit longer going down, and then you're gonna want to add a smaller one just underneath that. So it's kind of like the tail. The hard part of this is filling them in. So make sure when you're building this part to leave some gap behind the last primitive you built. So you can add the back of the leg, just like that. That way you have a place for your foot, on where your foot's going to be. Now it's all laid out for you. Yeah, I'm going to go back and fix that. That is way too big. That is still way too big, but okay. Anyway. Once you're happy with how the cylinders look on your leg, here you can see I made the one part that was too big just extend all the way down, just to save file size. If you guys are building on a big park, file size is going to be your worst enemy. But you do what you can. There you go. So that's how I like my leg. Once you have your leg, like I said, looking how you like it, then you're ready to start filling it in. What you can't see though with this camera angle is the back legs are actually tilted like away from the body. So as they extend and go down, they're pointing away from the body. But that doesn't really matter as such. Anyway. So right here you're going to add a sphere. If any of them don't look like they're connecting, add a sphere. It'll look flush. It'll look lovely. It'll look perfect. There are a couple spheres I add in this. In all the joints, in all the thighs. You can see right there in that little gap, I'm going to add a sphere. Same on the other side, there's going to be a sphere. Just to make it look more articulate. Big word for me, I know. Okay, so here you can see I'm adding these spheres into these little joints. And then the second one, anytime now, there you go. Alright, so now we're going to start with filling in the legs. So as you can see in the middle you've got like quite a big gap. With this you're going to want to use either triangles or cuboids, depending on the shape of your leg and how big it is. So for this I use triangles to fill the actual leg in. All you're just going to want to do is put it in like that. Right there, that's a cuboid. And another one. I thought I used triangles. I didn't. Maybe I used cuboids. This just makes the leg look, what's the word? Not flat, but flat. You get what I mean. It makes it look more leg-like. And don't do what I done. Don't make it too big so it sticks out on the other end. I didn't take that into account. I forgot all about that. See, even we make mistakes. And mistakes are good, because that's how you learn. As you can see here, I'm just fixing it. If you can, when you're adding the middle pieces, try and get them to line up with the back of the legs. Anyway, while I'm here, I just want to say, sorry I haven't been posting, and sorry if you started building this drag and then you stopped because I didn't post. I am very sorry. I have been very ill and haven't been able to even play theme park. I haven't played theme park in a long time. But yeah, I should be coming back. So let's start with the bottom of the feet, so to say. Okay, so what you want to do now is you're just going to want to copy what you just done on that side onto the other side. Now, if you want the dragon to be flying, all you got to do is make these legs horizontal instead of vertical. Same with the front, same with the back. But what we're doing here is we're just copying it over to the other side using that square we have in the middle to use that as a pivot point, so we can just turn it over onto the other side. Okay, now that we have that copied onto the other side, we're going to do the top of the legs. Ignore the really skinny primitive coming through the legs. That was just a pivot point because I couldn't access the cuboid anymore. But for the top of them, all you're going to want to do is add spheres to the top. That's pretty much it. You may want to add a cylinder in between to connect the two spheres up, just to make it look that little bit smoother, but you don't really need to. It all really depends on the size of the dragon you're building. But you're just going to do that on both sides, and honey ho, you got 2 back legs. Here's a better shot of me doing it on the other side. If my my good friend would go over there, Mr. Floppy. Thank you very much. So as you can see there, I've added a cylinder going from one sphere to the other. That's just to make it look a lot smoother than it originally would have looked. And like I said, you just repeat it on the other side. What you'll notice with building dragons is a lot of it is just repeating what you've done and then moving it over and then repeating what you've done. It may seem like a lot of work, but the outcome of it is sensational. You'll feel so much, you'll feel so proud of what you've done, and it's like an achievement. It sounds weird, but it is that, exactly. It's like an achievement. Anyway, with the front legs, I'm going to show you some articulation you could do. So one of the front legs is going to be going straight down, like the back legs, and one of them is going to be curled, holding a crystal bowl, hopefully. So yeah, I'll show you how to do the front legs. So with the front legs, you're going to want to have a lot, thinner cylinders. And for now, we're just going to make the shape of how our legs are going to stand, how our arms are going to stand, sorry. So this does look okay. I prefer to do only back-legged dragons myself. I don't really like doing 4-legged ones, but for this video, I'm going to show you how to do 4-legged ones. So if you wanted to, you could do a 4-legged one. And then if you didn't want to do a 4-legged one, and you just want to do a 2-legged, just delete the front arms. And if you're lazy like me, just delete the front arms in general, because there's just so much stress, which is what you're going to see, is stress. And I am sorry, but, you know, a lot of people need to see these, because maybe they want dragons in their park. Maybe you guys want dragons in your park. Do you want a dragon in your park? Make this dragon. Trust me. It's worth it. Anyway, as you see there, I've made the front arm different from the left arm. So the right arm is going to be curved, the left arm is going to be straight. Sort of straight. So with this, you're just going to want to make basically the top half of your arm like you did with the back, and how it slowly gets skinnier and thinner down to the bottom. So as you can see right here, I started adding the bottom portion of the arm, and then just building it up with cylinders slowly but surely. The worst thing about building in Theme Park Tycoon 2 is if you want to get something looking good, you gotta take time to do it good. You can't rush a good build, because then it's just gonna look sloppy, and yeah. This whole dragon in total took me 3 hours to build. And for its size, that is a pretty long time. We did have some video issues where I did originally build the whole front, the whole leg section and the tail, but the video didn't record. So I had to delete it all and then redo it. But I'll do whatever I need to get videos out for you guys. And I'd just like to say a personal thank you to Flobby for helping me record, because I do play on Xbox and I can't exactly record building on Xbox. Yet, that is. So, back to the tutorial. What you're going to want to do now is just slowly start to fill in the arms, if you're happy with how they look. The arms, they're just smaller versions of the back legs. That's pretty much all they are. Okay, so I'm going to cut the video until when we actually start building, because I'm getting pretty impatient. Okay, so here you can see we've started filling in the arms. With this, I am using triangles because they are a lot more pointy and more tipped. If you're building it and you think your arms look too chunky, arms can never be too chunky. For example, you could replicate the back legs and put them on the front legs, and your dragon would have legs instead of arms. Because this is technically a two-legged dragon, just I'm adding arms to it instead of legs. But they're still counted. Am I making sense? They're still counted as legs because you can stand on all four. I think you guys get it. But yeah, filling in the arms is not that hard. It's just making sure that primitives are precise on where they are, just to make it look that bit smoother, bit more flush. You could fill the arms in with cylinders. It would just be very round. Yeah, as you can see there, it may look like that. There may be some open edges, but once you've colored it all, you're not going to really be able to tell. Because it's all going to be, you won't have as much shadows as you would without color. Because with a solid color, you can see a lot more imperfections than you can perfections. Famous last words right there, guys. Famous last words. Okay, so once you have the arms filled in, then you're going to want to move to the top of the arms, where we're going to make them flush with the body. Same concept as the last back legs. You're just going to want to use cylinders and spheres. This time smaller, unless you're building legs on the front, not arms. Then you're just going to want to replicate the legs. Alright. So once you have two spheres right there, you're going to want to get a cylinder and just join them up. That's a bit big. Oh, I see what I'm doing. Sorry guys, I forgot what I was doing. I'm editing this video after coming back. So a lot of this is still, coming back to me. Bear with me. So we're just going to increase the size of the spheres right here to match the cylinder. The reason I changed it was because their spheres were actually pretty small and they weren't going into the body as much. So now you can see from a front view how the spheres go into the body to make it look like, it's connected. And then you're just going to want to do it on the other side. If you guys see that spider in the background and you're wondering, how do I build that? If you go onto my channel, there'll be a tutorial how to build a spider. And the spiders are significantly easier. Way easier. You can build a spider in under 5 minutes once you get it down. And the best thing about these tutorials that I'm showing you is there is no size cap to what you're building. You can build these things as big as the plot. I know I built a spider almost half of the plot size. It was humongous, ginormous, and I'm currently working on a dragon that is huge, absolutely ginormous, which is going to be for a separate video. And I was wondering, how would you guys feel if I started touring parks? So you guys could submit your parks to me, and then I would do a review and post them on this channel. Or would you guys like to keep this channel specifically for tutorials? Because I'd like to branch out into the theme park community and do videos around other things in the game, other than tutorials. Alright, so right here I put a sphere on the end of the arm and then started building a hand. This is how you're going to want to do the feet, pretty much. So you're going to want to get small cylinders, and just articulate them, and then put them in different positions to make them look like fingers or toes. Oh, sorry. So remember, dragons have four. They have 4 fingers and toes. You can make, now that I say that, you can make a dragon with 600. It's your choice. Anyway, so you're just going to want to make however you want your hands to be positioned, like if they're positioned on rocks, if they're positioned on, I don't know, grabbing someone or grabbing something, like a roller coaster track, then you're going to want to position them in the way that you feel. As you can see, these cylinders aren't all perfectly flush. That's because I'm making it look like scales with that little bit of overlap over the primitive, just like that. Thanks for the close-up, Flops. Anyway, this is what's going to be holding the sphere, or the orb, or whatever you guys want to call it. I can call it the sphere. With nails, all you're going to want to do is get a cone, which is a rounded pyramid, and shorten them down, make them small, and then extend the length of them. There's the orb. If you're going to put something in the hands of the dragon, make sure to build the fingers, not the nails. The nails come in last, because that's what's going to really be gripping onto something. Okay, so right there you can see I've added in the nails. They're just cones pointing a little more downwards towards whatever it's going towards. And they just look nice and neat. They just look nice. Just like that. So that's one arm pretty much done. What I would say though is, you may not be able to see it, I can see it now that I'm watching this, is that those fingers are significantly small for the size of the dragon. So try better than me to get proportions correct, because I've done a very poor job on this dragon to get proportions. For example, the fingers, the wings, the legs, the feet, it's all just misproportioned. I think it's mostly because I was trying to rush it, because I didn't want to leave you guys without part 3 or part 4, which is the next video that I gotta edit. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just make sure your proportions are correct, and that way you'll have a nice looking dragon. So right here we're going to start on the second arm. We're going to be putting the cylinder up into the arm, on the calf, should we say, putting it up into there, so then we can make it look as if it's veins are going down, like your knuckles do pretty much. And yeah, you just want to copy what you done on that last hand onto the other one, but instead of making them curved, make them flat. So as you can see, this is what the finished product of a flat foot should look like. The feet have got some curves, like where the knuckles would be, but that's only to make it look more dragon-like. And then what you're going to want to do after that is copy them on the back. But instead of making them a bit smaller for the hands, you want to make them a little bit larger. Not too big, but a little bit bigger. Which is what we're going to do. I'll skip to the part where I have one of the feet built. And yeah, I'll see you guys there. So as you can see, this is one of the back feet. I don't know, back foot. We'll stick with that, back foot. It's a little bit bigger than the front, but they're pretty much just the same. Yeah, that looks pretty good. They're not too much bigger, but they're proportional. Didn't think I'd use that on this build. boom. There you have it. That's the foot. That's the feet done. Not foot, feet. So as you can see, that's pretty much it for the legs. And yeah, I think you guys know what's up next. My favorite part begins with C, coloring. So for the arms and legs, I'd color them the same as the main tone of the body. As you can see what I'm doing right here. For the nails, I'd paint them the same as the spikes in the back, because nails and spikes, they're kind of like bone, and bone is all the same color, technically. And yeah, that's pretty much about it for this build, this part of the build. That's the feet, the tail, and the legs. Done. This video is pretty long, and I'm sorry about that, but I just want to take some time to thank everybody who's supported me, commented on my videos, subscribed. It does mean a lot. It gives me motivation to keep posting, keep trying for you guys, and all in all, just bring better content out for you, learn how to do more stuff, and yeah. So I have one request for you guys. Could you guys do me a really big favor and comment some builds you'd like to learn how to build, models specifically, like animals, vehicles, stuff like that. It just gives me more, what's it called, stuff to help you guys out with in post, because I'm very bored. I'm a bored guy. I want to get bored, I get dumb, and I build silly stuff. But anyway, that's not the matter. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please leave a like. Subscribing is up to you. If you found this video helpful, then yeah, sure, go ahead, drop a like, maybe subscribe. But until then, guys, here's some shots of the dragon.